And so we move on to Tomorrowland, Walt Disney Pictures' latest live-action flop. It seems to be that time of year again where Walt Disney Pictures releases a live-action movie and it flops terribly. In previous years we've had The Lone Ranger and John Carter, now we have Tomorrowland. But unlike those previous two movies, I enjoyed this one quite a bit, which makes the fact that it's not really being received that well by general audiences that little bit more painful. It's directed by Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles amongst other wonderful things, and the story is that when a young woman discovers a mysterious pin that transports her to a future world, she soon finds herself the target of a group of evil robots. So she enlists the help of Frank Walker to help her discover the true nature of the pin and to save the future world. It stars Britt Robertson and George Clooney as George Clooney, and I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit, even though I seem to be the only person in the cinema that did. I will say this, certainly, despite all other grievances I may have for this movie, its vision for the future, I have to say, is magical. Purely magical and wonderfully enjoyable. You may remember a time as a child when you watched movies like Back to the Future or just about any TV show set within the future, and that weird sense of excitement and wonder seeing this weird futuristic world with people driving flying cars and jetpacks, wearing silver clothing and being beguiled by that wondrous technical future. And in recent years that has kind of faded away for me as I've grown up, but seeing this movie, that magic, that joy, that energy, that spark was reignited with me for the almost the entirety of this movie. And it's such a wonderful vision for the future that when big nasty things are happening, you actually want our heroes to succeed, to save this future world where just about anything is possible, because humanity has learnt to look beyond any kind of personal grievances and to come together as one big happy family. Aww. Now this movie is, the heart of it, a fairly nice movie. Its motivation, its message is that we shouldn't give up hope, that we should have some kind of dream, we should have some kind of optimism for the future, that we shouldn't resign ourselves to failure, that we should continue to fight for things that we believe in, to make our lives and the lives of people around us much, much better. There's a montage towards the start of this movie where our lead character is at school and being taught by her teachers all the big, nasty, horrible things that are happening to humanity, and she simply raises her hand and says, well, what are we doing to stop it? And that is the heart of the movie. It's saying, why should we let ourselves be resigned for the nasty things that happen to this world, to surveillance culture or global warming, when realistically, if we came together and were a little bit more hopeful, we could put our problems aside and save the future. Which I think is a nice little message for a movie like this. I can understand, once again, why the movie isn't doing so well with general audiences, because it's not really a clear-cut movie. You can't say in frank honesty that this is a summer blockbuster movie. It's not an adventure, it's not an action movie, it's not an Avengers, it's not a Mad Max. It is a very lofty, very intelligent, very clever little drama movie with elements of sci-fi, and that hasn't really resonated with the core audience of this. In the screening that I saw it during the bank holiday weekend, and there were a number of families with a number of children in the audience, and most of them looked bored. I could hear one boy asking frequently, has it finished yet? Is it over? Which is a shame, as this is the kind of kids that this movie should be inspiring, and sadly it seems to be that it hasn't. It is an enjoyable movie. I find its visions for the future inspiring and its message to be very pure and very honest. It is a damn shame this movie isn't doing quite as well as the box office. It may well in time become yet another live-action Disney cult classic, which is at least something. I would rather this movie did a lot better in its current state, but at the end of the day, I did enjoy it. If you're going to see it, bearing in mind it's a little bit lofty, it's a little bit too intelligent, it's not the kind of movie which sadly I'd say that you should take your kids to go and see, but it's enjoyable for what it is. It has some magic, spark, and an honest message behind it. I enjoyed it.